Hello! Welcome back. I hope everybody's had a good week. I hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend. Hopefully y'all staying cool out there. I think the heat dome that was centered over my neck of the woods has moved on to the eastern part of the country, and I think at least a lot of my coworkers were quite surprised by how warm it got so quickly. It's just June. It's not even August yet. Just wait. So, who have we got here? Who is in the chat? We've got Barroso24 says hello, hello. Also, Clarge on OnePlus is here. Hello. How's it going? Clarjon says, I don't want this heat dome anymore. I'm so sorry. I can't control it. It was hanging out here for a while, gave us 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and now it's off to bother y'all. Sorry. Gut Bomb is here. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. I know we're doing a Mac stream this week, which I know doesn't get a lot of viewers. I think there were only like 2 people waiting at the start of this, compared to last week with the Voodoo 5, where there were 9 people waiting for the stream to start, and then I think we had a max total viewership of like 40. I'm gonna be happy if we get to like 9 today, but you know what? I want to show this off because if you haven't been following the saga of this Centris 610, John over at Big Bad Biologist, Big Bad Bench, did some magic work on this machine. Some absolute just hardware wizardry on this thing. It was real good. Starbuck Tech is here. Hello, 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 hello. Gutbomb says I'm going to be doing some Mac Voodoo 1 experimentation. So you can figure out where, if you have the low viewers of Mac stuff versus the high viewers of Voodoo stuff, what happens when you combine the two? Is it multiplicative? I think very few people have seen a Voodoo operate on a Mac, so I think that'd probably be a pretty good video to watch. I'd watch it. I love Voodoo stuff on Mac. It's great. Voodoo's a great card on a Mac. It's a match made in heaven, honestly. So, as I was saying, this is the Centris 610 that John over Big Bad Biologist fixed, resurrected, honestly. Like, I picked this thing up on eBay because we had a Centris 610 back in the day, back at my parents' place, and it was the family computer for several years, for several formative years of my life. I know I've told the story before, but I started really on computers. Like, we had an Apple II, we had a 2E and a 2GS, but like they're mostly just game machines, right? Like you pick up your floppy of Zany Golf, you stick it in the 2GS and turn it on, and you play Zany Golf, right? Like I wasn't really into that machine as a computer, right? Like just like programming it, messing around with it, figuring out how much it can do. It wasn't until my dad picked up a Mac 2 CX and a giant 2-page display, and he squirreled them away in his office, that I became interested. And they really started my love affair with classic Mac OS. That 2CX was pretty great, playing with HyperCard on it when I was a kid. And then, we got around 93 or so, 94, we got a Centris 610. We got an 040 Mac in the house. If you don't know about the Motorola 68040, it's a banger of a chip. Throughout the series of Motorola 68000 processors, right? 68000 was in like the Sega Genesis, it was in the classic Macs, like the original Mac, the 512K, and the Mac Plus, it was in the SE. I think they tried to shoehorn it into one of the classics, if I remember, which was a really bad decision. Pretty slow. Putting it into Sega Genesis made it, basically the most powerful console at the time. Putting it into a Macintosh made it basically the slowest computer at the time. Not a great chip for general computing. 68020 fixed a lot of those problems, introduced full 24-bit addressing for memory. Of course, the architecture was 32-bit to begin with, but you couldn't really do anything with that since your buses were always 16-bit. Anyway, 020 is about equivalent to a 286. 68030 is about equivalent to a 386 or so in terms of performance. The 68040, though, is solidly faster than a 486. It's not quite Pentium fast, but it's solidly faster than a 486 of equivalent clock speed. So This launched as a 20 megahertz LC040, which means it has no, it's basically a 486SX, right? It has no floating point unit in it. When John resurrected this board, he was nice enough to throw an LC04025 in it with the correct clock crystal to get it to 25 megahertz. So it is a 25 megahertz Centris 610. It's a weird Frankenchild between the Centris 610 and the Quadra 610. So Quadra 610 ran at 25 megahertz with a full 68040, and the Centris 610 ran at 20 megahertz with an LC040. I'm a little in the middle with no floating point unit, but running the same speed as the Quadra. Anyway, this is a machine from 1993 with basically the performance of a high-end Mac from 1991, just to temper expectations here. That being said, I think it's also important to remember this is a high-end Mac from 1991, essentially, right? When we see how it runs, because it runs pretty darn well. The 040 was a nice chip, and this is a pretty good example of it. It's not the fastest 040. There was the Quadra 840 AV had a 40 megahertz full 68040 in it, which was just a absolute beast, total monster, a roundabout equivalent to a 486 DX266-ish. This is 25 megahertz is a round equivalent to like a 486 SX33 or so. Not bad, but certainly not, it's not going to win any races, right? We're going to run Doom on it later. I just want to temper expectations now. It's a 1991 level computer running Doom, which of course launched in 1994 on DOS and didn't get over to the Mac until 95, 96, I think, 96. It actually arrived, original Doom arrived on the Mac after the port of Doom 2 arrived on the Mac. That's how weird Mac gaming was back then. So anyway, who else do we have here? We've got some more viewers. Barroso says, I missed last stream. Gonna watch after this. Yes, K62 Plus with a Voodoo 5. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. Really, really stressed out the K62 Plus. Pushing it to its absolute limits. Gutbomb says the Quadra 650 has a 33 megahertz 040. Yes, that was a pretty common speed. I think the 950 and the 650, and there were a couple of Quadra 040 Macs that used the 33 megahertz version. It was just the 840 AV that had the 40 megahertz 68040 out of the box anyway. Overclocking these things, of course, you give a mouse a cookie, you give Mac enthusiasts the fastest Macs they've ever seen, they're going to overclock them. Of course they are. And yeah, technically this one is overclocked. It's not supposed to be running at 25 megahertz. Although the chip in it is a 25 megahertz rated 68040 LC040. Let's take a look at it, honestly. Let's take a look inside. Let me switch over to the desk cam. There we go. There's our big slab of anonymous beige. Missing the front bezel here because this is actually going back to John. He refused to accept any payment for his hardware necromancy work on this thing. So I insisted that he take the cool caddy loading CD-ROM drive because I don't have any caddies for it. I don't have any I don't have any discs for it. There wasn't anything I was going to do with it. And this is where I'm hiding my blue SCSI, and I'm going to 3D print a bezel for this so that my blue SCSI can stick out in the front and I can get at the SD card easily. Anyway, to open it up, this is a Mac from the 90s, so it's super easy. It's 2 tabs in the back. These actually don't even click on anymore. But you lift the whole thing up, slide it forwards a little, and off it comes. That's it. You're inside. That is all there is to it. And you may notice, hey, hang on. The Centris 610 didn't have a heatsink on its CPU. And you're correct. I was doing some testing on this yesterday, and the little 68 LC040 here, even though it's rated at 25 megahertz, I don't know if it's a genuine chip or not. It's a problem, honestly, with 6840s, of getting non-genuine chips these days. But it wouldn't run super long at 25 megahertz, despite being rated at 25 megahertz, until I put a heatsink on it, and you see I've got a little fan here too. Got a little Cooler Master fan. It's actually not super loud. I've got, you can kind of see it now, you can't see that. There you go. I've got a speed limiting resistor on that, so it's not gonna run super loud. And of course, this John sent stickers. If you haven't seen John's stickers, they're really great. Look at that. That's so good. Come on, camera focus. You can do it. You can do it. Not being able to focus is my job. Come on, stupid camera. Anyway, they're really good. They're really cute. This is going to be a permanent addition to this machine because it was honestly resurrected by him. There was so much wrong. If you haven't watched any of his streams on what he had to do to get this thing to work, you really should. You're doing yourself a disservice. This thing was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. I feel so bad about giving it to him to have him fix, but I'm so glad he did. He was just, So we've got RAM under the SCSI cable here. This was the stuff that came with it from eBay. Of course, the eBay seller I got this from said that it powers on. Yeah, this is one of those Macs with a hard power button. There's a hard power switch here that turns on the power supply. That's what they meant by powers on. It didn't work. It was in no condition to actually function, which is part of the reason that he's an absolute wizard. So we've got a total of 24 megs of RAM, and we've got all of the VRAM SIM upgrades, I believe, on this for a total of 1 meg of VRAM. So yeah, that's the machine. Let's boot her up and see what she does. I have been, like I said, I've been messing around with this pretty much all day yesterday, a little bit this morning, just getting everything set up and ready to go. Oh yeah, should talk about what I've got plugged into it, because you might not have ever seen one of these, but this is how you got Ethernet back in the day if you had one of these Centrises or Quadras. Make sure I get this out of here without killing it. There we go. Yeah, if you wanted a network, and you had a Centris or a Quadra from back in the day, you got one of these little things. This is, you might be familiar with an AUI adapter. It's where you have like a DB15 on the back of a network card. You plug in a dongle on it, and it gives you like twisted pair or 10 base 2, like coax, something like that. Did not mute my phone before stream. That's naughty. This is a similar kind of idea. I think it's the same pinout, it's just smaller. It is, of course, AAUI, Apple AUI, and this one just ends in twisted pair, so you just get normal Ethernet out of this. But yeah, that's how we're getting on the network today. Of course, the Blue SCSI, Eric over at the Blue SCSI team has done some amazing work. Plug this thing back in without destroying it. Oh, there we go. Too many cables. Too many cables. Get in there. You obviously, if you've got a Blue SCSI in your machine, you can use the Farallon SCSI Ethernet driver, which gives you an Ethernet card on your SCSI bus. It's wild. It works perfectly fine. It connects over your Wi-Fi. I have this Blue SCSI set up for that. I've got there's the Wi-Fi module on the Blue SCSI, but I'm not using it. I'm just using the wired Ethernet because, yeah. Anyway, yeah, let's boot this thing up and do some stuff. That's what we like to hear. So I'm going to switch over to the VGA. One sec. There we go. She boots pretty quick. Blue SCSI's nice for that. Makes these old Macs boot as fast as they possibly can. And we'll be greeted with something very familiar. This is System 7, specifically if I can pull the menu down, there we go. Specifically System 7.1. This is about as classic Mac OS gets, right? Like we all know the Platinum interface from OS 8, OS 9, right before OS 10 took over. But this is my bread and butter right here. So these silly little horizontal stripes that mimicked, the horizontal stripes, the Platinum interface or the Platinum design language in Apple's hardware. Loved it. The consistency level on this OS is so good. So good. For example, you open up a folder or a drive. That's it. The Finder keeps track of what's open. So you can't reopen a folder a second time. You always get the same one when you open a folder. It's a level of consistency that modern OSs just don't have. Sure, it's convenient to just like, type in a path, get a new window with your, the same folder you were browsing earlier, but like the fact that things are in this OS are so concrete. Like this is this folder, right? This is where its contents will be, and when you close it, it opens in the same location every time. Like that's a level of consistency that just doesn't exist anymore. Just doesn't exist anymore. So, obviously this is pretty familiar if you've ever seen an old Mac, right? We've got like the folder full of control panels. This replaced the giant control panel desk accessory we had in System 6. These are all little individual applets. You do stuff like turning the cache on and off on the 68040, or allocating how much virtual memory you want in System 7, because System 7 has virtual memory. Other stuff like that, you've got, you can set up users. It's technically a single user operating system, but you can add users for like Apple Share if you want to share some folders. They'll need to present credentials in order to get in there. You can use access control lists and stuff. Networking options, where you can tell like where do you want your, what's your primary AppleTalk connection. AppleTalk, of course, being where you get to, network shared printers, how you get to Apple Share volumes if you're looking for shared files, stuff like that. And in this case, I'm saying, find the AppleTalk network over the Ethernet, which is called EtherTalk. We've got Mac TCP, which is the TCP IP stack on classic Mac OS before Open Transport. So this was the TCP IP stack before Open Transport. So I've got all of this is set up manually on my network because apparently it can't do DHCP. I don't know why. But we are online. You can see by the name of the drive that I'm running here, this is destined to become my AppleTalk internet router so that I can get this thing on Global Talk. And eventually, with the help of some of these little guys, phone net adapters that take the RS-422 serial on the back of all Macintoshes and turn it into basically a tiny serial packet network. Love it. Totally nuts. Love it. You can route AppleTalk over, from one destination into another, and in this case, from my Ethernet, from the internet into the phone net network, so I can get my Mac Plus online, which you can't quite see, but it's right over there. Yeah, you can sort of see it. That's about as far as I can move that camera. But the idea eventually is to get my Mac Plus online onto the 2024 internet. A 1986 computer onto the 2024 internet. Speaking of, though, if we open up our network folder here, we've got a Mac TCP ping. So this allows us, it's called Mac TCP ping because we also have Mac ping, and this will actually do AppleTalk pinging. So if you need to ping devices over your phone net network, you can do that. This will ping over TCP/IP, and we are connected. If I can type. Not only can we resolve names, or DNS works, we can also ping. We are connected to the 2024 internet on this machine, which I think is pretty awesome. It took almost no work to get this thing onto the internet, which is wild to me. 1993 computer on the 2024 internet. Hilarious. And yeah, we can run Netscape. Good old Netscape Navigator. If we go to, let's say, FrogFind, look at that. We've got network, and it's not too bad, as long as, the site isn't a 2024 website full of JavaScript and garbage. But, like if you're browsing pages of its era, it's great. 68040 is a strong processor. All right, so anyway, we're not going to spend a ton of time in this particular bootable OS because there's another one I've got on here. This is this drive over here called System 7.1 Extreme. I've done a little customization. I kind of want to show it off. So let's reboot into that machine, into that OS. And I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, Garth says, oh cool, a real Apple AAUI adapter. I found it on eBay for cheap. I don't know if I got lucky or what, but like, I found it on eBay for cheap. Honestly, that is the first time I've used one. I've had a bunch of Macs in my lifetime that have had that stupid little port on it. I've never used it. We've got a few more extensions on this version of macOS, and some bisexual lighting. Gonna have that too. This is still System 7.1. And we're not using that much more RAM. About 1.5 meg more RAM. This is what I did back then. I completely murdered this computer back in the day. My dad was so mad at me for doing all this stuff to it because it's like, you're making it slower. Quit it. But it's so nice. So let's run through the stuff I've got installed here because I think there's some cool stuff. First of all, if I open up, did you catch that? If I open up a folder, yeah, we've got, that is from Kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope is it's an appearance manager before the appearance manager. It's for theming your windows and your widgets. Let's see, where is it? Kaleidoscope, where did you go? This isn't sorted by name anymore. Kaleidoscope. This is legendary software from back in the day. Everybody had Kaleidoscope on their Mac because you could do so many things with this. There's an archive on Macintosh Garden that is only Kaleidoscope themes that look like macOS 10 Aqua because Apple would issue cease and desists on the authors of those themes because they were stealing the look and feel of macOS 10. Absolutely hilarious. But this is an awesome piece of software. I loved it back in the day. I still love it. On an 040, it runs great. On an 030, like I tried running this on a Duo back in the day. I had a Duo 270. That was my dad's. It gave it to me. There's a long story there. I wish I still had it. I don't. I couldn't take it with me when I left my previous life. But I ran Kaleidoscope on that for a little while, and it was not great. Not great. On an 040, though, phenomenal. Love it. And I just have the default themes installed right now. I didn't have enough time to get some more themes, but like most of the time, I was running a BOS theme on this. And yes, that will crop the title bars onto the right side and, you know, recenter the window title and everything. Fantastic. Fantastic. Love Kaleidoscope. So another big one I want to show off here is if I grab this window and I move it around, you might notice that the whole window moves. No version of classic macOS did that. Even macOS 9 didn't do that. So what in the Windows 95 is going on here? That is drag any window. Highly recommend it. It lets you do exactly what it says, drag any window. And if you hold down modifier keys, you can drag modal dialog boxes, you can drag palettes, you can drag anything you want. Drag any window. But normally, for what I use, I just let it drag normal windows. And here's the fun part. This one's my favorite part. The little checkbox here that says update windows. Because while you're dragging it, you might notice the windows behind it update. If you don't know anything about classic macOS, this seems impossible. Because classic macOS is single tasking. It's not actually multitasking. Like you can run, and go up to the application menu here, you can run multiple apps at once. But only one gets the main thread at any given time. And if you start dragging a window, you're done. 100% of the CPU is focused on dragging that window or working with that menu item. It's one of the biggest weaknesses of classic macOS. And it's kind of fundamental to the way it was built. But that doesn't mean that you can't patch it out with some clever programming and some extensions and control panels. And that's exactly what they're doing here with Dragon and Windows. Exactly what Alexi is doing, or what Alex Levi is doing here, is he's patching out this drag command, right? When you click and hold on a window, a call goes out to the Mac toolbox and says, I'm dragging a window. And normally, everything stops. 100% of the CPU goes to dragging that window, just drawing that little dotted outline. 100% of your CPU is drawing that little dotted outline. And this patches that routine, redirects it to some other code, which pulls the whole window along, and then, with a delay, updates the windows behind it. And you can configure that here. In how many 60ths of a second you want. Here I'm doing it every half second. And it works pretty great, honestly. As you can see, like, it's not 100% fluid, but it's not bad. Remember, this was high-end for 1991. This was a 1993 low-end computer. That's not bad. Ask a 486-33 to do that in Windows 95. You'll have a bad time. So another thing, let's see if I can get a piece of software running here. To find some software. I don't know where I'll find any software. I have so much stuff running on here. Let's do... You know what? Let's do... I haven't tested this. I don't know if this is going to work. We'll do the sound checker. We'll play some mods. We'll play some mod music. And let's do something that's not going to be super loud. Blow everyone away. That's right, I can't drag a file onto it. I have to open it. Let's do something that won't get me copyright claimed. Where's the... Yeah, that's not bad. It's just kind of a generic song. Right, so it's doing stuff. Cool. Now, what did I just say? Oh, it's not gonna do it. Oh, it's not gonna display it in the background. Darn it. Let's see if it'll... Okay. That's so loud. Shush. 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 Okay. You see our song counter, right? It's advancing in the background. Now, remember what I said about pulling down a menu in macOS. 100% of the CPU concentrates on the menu. Hang on, what's this? How's that running in the background? I can still move my cursor around my menus. I've been looking for this thing for forever. This is one of the coolest tricks I've ever seen on classic macOS. This is... Oh my gosh, stop. Stop. This is called Menu Tasker. So if we hold down Command and we go up a level here, let's go into the extensions. It lives in the extensions folder. This is Menu Tasker. This thing is incredible. It allows background tasks while you've got menus pulled down. Now it can't multitask the front running application while you have a menu pulled down. It's just the way that menus are architected. The menu bar in a classic macOS program is really interesting. It becomes a part of the main program loop of that application. So when you pull it down, you immediately lock that program's main thread. That main program loop is all about that menu. But Brian Bergstrand, figured out that if you patch that, you can let background applications run occasionally while that menu is pulled down, and mostly it works. Mostly. I'll show you where it doesn't work. So if I just window shade a couple of these, what I want is to be able to see. I have too many windows. I want to see the sound checker window here within the space of my menu bars, right? So that's my longest menu. Let's close that. So if I push this up here, right, and we'll play this again. There's our display updating. Go back into the Finder, pull down a menu. You can see it writes over the menu. there's the magic, right? We're literally just giving cycles back to the background program. But it does work. And like you don't lose very much responsiveness. Like obviously, if you don't have menu tasker installed, these menus are lightning fast on an 040. Like literally 100% of the CPU going to rendering that menu. Very responsive, but like even letting the background apps run like this, it's not too bad. That's perfectly usable. And that is Menu Tasker. It's Menu Tasker. If you're interested and you want to put it on your classic Mac or your Mac VM, that one. It's on the Garden. You can find it. It's a piece of cake. It's really tiny. So you can, it's totally made by a programmer. The way you configure it is you dump it into ResEdit. If you don't know what ResEdit is like a can opener for Mac files. It's in my utilities. Where's my ResEdit? There it is. Let's get it here where I can see it. And if we grab Menu Tasker, drag it onto ResEdit, you can basically splay this extension open and see all of its contents. So like there's its icons. Yep, there you can see its icons. You can see a bunch of other stuff that I'll be honest, I don't know what these things are for. In it should be this is an extension, so in it should be the code blocks for the actual extension itself. What you do though, is you go into this resource here, this str for strings, open it up, and there's a string named sleep time. And you set this between 0 and 10, depending on how much sleep time you want. I think 10 is 100% background task, and 0 is none, where it acts like the original menus, and you don't get any multitasking. I have it set to 2. It works really nicely, as you can see. But yeah, that's literally that's how you configure it. You open it up in ResEdit. It's wild. But yeah, if you're interested in it, go grab it off the Garden. Piece of cake, easy to install, and it does what it says on the tin. Does what it says on the tin. If I had this stuff back in 1993, like all this cool stuff here, like I'd be in heaven. Just gobsmacked at what classic macOS can do. This was an OS that was not designed to do any of the things that I'm doing with it. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so what else do I have installed in here? I've got a few doublers installed. If you don't know what a doubler is, you didn't grow up in the 90s, you're probably better off for it. But speed doubler, RAM doubler, you can see I've got startup doubler here. What these do is they attempt to make your Mac faster. I have speed doubler installed mostly because it also patches part of the operating system live. And what it does is it patches the file copy routine. When you copy a file from one place to another in the Finder, the System 7 was still optimized for lower-end Macs, for stuff like, you can run System 7 on a Mac Plus. I think you can even run it on a 512, maybe just a Mac Plus. I think minimum requirement was a Mac Plus. But like, you weren't copying a lot of data at that time, right? Like you could get 100 kilobytes into memory and then you had to write it out again because you just didn't have much free RAM. Unfortunately, the Finder doesn't adjust its copying routine when you run it on, a Quadra class machine with 24 megs of RAM. So what Speed Doubler does, especially what's called Speed Copy, is it runs as an application whenever you call a file copy, and it intercepts it, grabs the file, finds the destination, and then copies it with large file buffers. And it's way faster, way faster than doing a regular file copy in the Finder on a machine like this. Let's see if I can demonstrate this. Let's see. If I turn off speed copy, it is not a control panel. It is an extension. Go back into the extensions folder, find speed copy, and disable it. There's speed copy. I'll move this to the desktop to turn it off. I don't have extensions manager because that didn't exist yet. If I reboot, now we're going to have the default Finder copy routine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all the stuff on my stuff folder drive onto my other large drive. I've got two partitions on this, I've got a giant file on my Blue SCSI with two partitions on it that are 2 gigs each. So just copy files from one to the other. You'll see how painful it is. I won't copy the whole thing. I won't make you sit through that, but you'll see how slow it is. So, wait for the wallpaper to load. Ta-da! Okay. So if I open up stuff folder and grab just all this stuff and copy it to Centris HD. It's not quick, right? It's not quick. And like there's everything working for this right now, right? Like we're on an SD card, which is way faster than any of the old SCSI hard drives were in these things. We've got, an 040. We've got a decent system bus. We've got lots of RAM, a lot of it used for disk cache. But it doesn't matter. It's pokey. So, I'll delete that and turn on speed copy by dragging it back into my extensions folder, which is somewhere now. Where did it hide itself? Did I close it? I closed it. I did, see? It doesn't have the icon saying I opened it, so I closed it. Drop that back in there and reboot. See, we've gotten some dropped frames. Thank you, Internet. I don't miss, I'm not, when I move away, I'm not going to miss this Internet. It's been awful. The worst Internet I've ever had in my life. It's Comcastic. Okay. There we go. Background. And we'll copy the same stuff. Zip. And plop. Now we're doing speed copy. You see how much faster it is immediately. Plus, you get lots of metrics. You can see exactly how long it's going to take, how fast it's going, how much you have left to copy. Right? Like we're already past where the Finder was last time. Right? That's so much faster. This is the 100% the reason I've Speed Doubler on here. Fun fact. Speed Doubler likes to be installed from a floppy disk. For whatever reason, Speed Doubler likes to be installed from a floppy disk. And I have a floppy copy. The floppy drive in this thing works. The eject mechanism does not. The eject mechanism super does not work. But the floppy reads perfectly fine. Installed Speed Doubler off of that. Stick those floppies back on top of my tower of obsolete media. Got a zip drive on there. I've got a USB floppy drive, and I've got a DVD burner. Anyway, way faster, like ridiculously faster than the default Finder copy. Anyway, oh, the other thing, probably the last thing I should talk about, is the desktop background. So, normally you get desktop patterns on System 7. You didn't get you didn't get like large patterns or even desktop pictures until 7.5 and macOS 8. I think you may have gotten it in 7.6 if you pulled the appearance manager back from OS 8. I don't know, whatever. A really popular control panel to use back then for desktop pictures was Decor. But also, this existed, Desk Picture. Does what it says on the tin. You just pick a file, make it your desktop. Right? Easy. You've got options for scaling. You can have it use as little memory as possible. Let's see, what is... I have a horizontal purple gradient, so what I'm using right now. So what if we use Moon and Earth? Let it load. It is a 25 megahertz processor. That is a very small picture for a very large desktop. But yeah, you just... Did it do it? Oh, it's doing it. There it is. It did it. It takes a while. I clicked it again. I made the mistake of clicking it again. Go away. We're done with you. If I can window shade all of these windows. No, of course not. I would love that. That's the last one, of course. That is window shade. That lets me do this. This was a feature that was in... I think they added it to OS 8. But it was an extra for many years before OS 8. Where's that? Window shade. Window shade, good stuff. There you go, right? So this is actually pulled back from System 7.5. It's not designed for earlier systems and might not function correctly. Obviously, it's been working just fine. Yeah, there you go. You double click the title bar, shades the window, unshades the window. You can have it play sounds or not. Yeah. Let's see, other stuff like some built-ins. If you've got a window behind another, this is just standard macOS stuff, but you can hold down Command, drag the window around, it'll drag around underneath it, and of course, since I have drag any window installed, it updates while you're dragging it, which is really nice, so you can actually like peek at a window behind you and see what's in it. Yeah, that's what I've got on the Centris so far. There's some stuff that came on it. I don't know what Mac Envy is, but it appears to list all the things that it has. So yeah, we've got 68040. This says there's a 68881 installed because I'm running software FPU on this, which is kind of necessary on an LC040 because there's a lot of software out there that just assumes you have a floating point unit, and you'll just get a bomb message on the screen that says bad F-line instruction. So this helps with that, but it's not a panacea. Not at all, as we'll see in a bit. Yeah, let's do some benchmarks. Let's do some benchmarks. Oh, I have desk picture still open. We'll quit that. Benchmarks! Open up our stuff folder. Benchmarks. I've got a couple on here, not a whole lot, but speedometer, of course. Classic. Let's do... Let's just do the benchmarks. Give me the benchmarks. Run them all. Let's have you test that one. A meg of space is required to test the drive throughput. Ooh, look out. So the CPU tests went through pretty quickly. Now this is interesting. We'll do math tests with software FPU installed. I wonder if they'll test differently without software FPU installed. Well, this is running. Let's see what chat's doing. Hello, chat. Gut bomb laughing at my System 7.1 Extreme. I wanted to make it 90s. I think I succeeded. Timo asks, can it run Doom? Yeah, we're going to run Doom in just a minute. Oh, yep. Gutbomb says, everyone thinks the power button on this machine is the floppy eject button because Apple put it in just the right place. Yeah, the power button on this thing is, we can see it here on the front of the case. There's the floppy drive, and there's the power button. That shuts the whole darn machine off. If you think that's going to eject the disk, it doesn't. Not the greatest industrial design, honestly. Not the greatest industrial design. Oh. Ian Scott says DHCP is too newfangled for Mac TCP. That, yeah, I kind of figured. I'm surprised it doesn't even have boot P support, though. But, I don't know, maybe. It's just too darn old. Gutbomb says Mac TCP forever, way better than Open Transport. Honestly, I agree. Open Transport was always so slow. So slow. Ryzen 9 3900 XT says, what is going on? What's going on? We're running stuff on my old Mac. This is the motherboard that that Big Bad Biologist basically resurrected. This thing had like bad traces. It had corrosion on the board from capacitors. There was even some, like, the battery looked okay when I took it out. There was some corrosion on the board from the battery. There were a couple of dead chips that he replaced. This thing was just never going to work, and he resurrected it, and I'm forever grateful to him for that. The family Mac back in the day was a Centris 610 for many years. I have many fond memories of this machine, so I'm very happy to have one back in my life again. And bonus, while he was in there, he replaced the clock crystal. We're running a 12.5 megahertz clock crystal, and we have a 25 megahertz 68 LC040. So we're faster than stock. Faster than stock speed. So we have two very different opinions about my System 7.1 Extreme. Gutbomb says, "Oh geez, what have you done?" and Garth Beagle says, "Looks great. Love the customization." Two very different takes on my very not normal Mac System 7.1 install. Oh. There we go. Tests are done. I sure hope so. That was a lot. That was quite the slide, or quite the light show there. So there you go. We're not doing great with software FPU. A Mac 2 should be a 1.0 in the floating point benchmarks, and we're at a 0.1. Ouch. Ouch, ouch. What do we have here for our final scores, though? Oh, we have a final system score of 15.5505. Sorry, 15.505. Not bad. Not bad. So we're about roughly 15 times faster than a Mac Classic. Which, yeah, it's a 68040. These things are fast. These things are fast. I do have a full 68040 on the way to me. It was marked for gold scrap. I'm hoping that the pins on the back are just bent. I took a look at the pictures. They don't look great, but I think it's probably fixable. We'll see, but it'll be nice to have a floating point unit on this, especially when we try and run some other stuff later. Because it would be nice to have. Ooh, we've got colorful graphs. Let's compare this with, here we go, an LC3. Across the board, it's just faster. Which makes sense. LC3 was, what, a 25 megahertz 030? The 68040 was a huge leap ahead in performance. So we've got clock for clock over double, almost triple performance. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. General CPU, yeah, almost triple performance. From 6.7 to 16. It's like 2.5 times faster. We are roughly equivalent to an LC475, which makes sense. It's about the same speed. Cool. Looking good. I don't know where you want to put it. Stick it there. There we go. Okay. So that's speedometer. We'll run some MacBench on this too. Oh, it needs System 7.5. Ha! I should have put MacBench 3 on here. My bad. Well, I guess we're not doing that. But we've got 1bit in the chat who made a little, like, blitter program that blits black and white boxes on the screen. I think I need to set this to black and white before it'll work. So you can see what we've got for maximum options. 640 by 480 or 800 by 600, that's about it. Come on. Wow, is that 640 by 480? Really? Feels like it's the same resolution. Am I going nuts? Oh, changes don't take effect until restart. Okay. 640 by 480. Hit OK. We'll set this to... We'll leave it at 256. We can change it to black and white when we restart. Alright, well, let's reboot 640 by 480. Gonna play some games. They're gonna need 640 by 480. Let's see if Windows XP Search Dog has any wisdom for us today. Yes. What do you think? It's time for the Vaporwave? I don't know. Seems like it's too early. Okay. Wait for it to process that background picture, which is just quite a lot. I think it had a problem. I think it processed that correctly. Oh well. Let's go monitors. Set that to black and white. There we go. Well, that is a wild look. It's macOS dark mode. Look at that. Let's see if this will work. Let's do 42, the solution to life, the universe, and everything. No, not quite. Doesn't quite work. Unfortunate. And Gut Bomb says JPEGs were serious business in 1993. I don't know how to quit this program. I don't know if it can. Oh, we can force it to quit. There we go. That's fine. So there you go. 1-bit. That's there's a data point for you. Doesn't quite work. Let's see. Let's go to. God, this looks great, honestly. Dark mode Mac OS. This is fantastic. Hey, there's our JPEG again. Hooray! Okay, let's play some games. Heck yeah. Let's play some games. Start with the one in the upper left corner, huh? Good old Marathon. Oh, sorry, 1-bit. You want me to try grays? Like 16 grays? 256 grays? Charlotte says Goth Mac. It's super good. Okay, I think I customized these controls last night. Let's see. I sure did. Okay. Yeah, that works. Alright. Play some Marathon. Mouse aim is terrible. Come on. Bear in mind, 25 megahertz, 1993. Of course, Marathon didn't come out in 1993. So, like, you're trying to run one of the newest games at the time on, you know, a 1993 low-end computer. I think the thing that I always found most weird about Marathon, whenever I played it in the past, is just how the field of view, right? Like, it's so zoomed in on what you're looking at. It's the same for Marathon 2. It was just a decision that Bungie made at the time to just, like, I don't know, limit what the engine had to render? I don't know. But it's a little weird. Like looking through a telescope. Of course, if you want to play this now on modern hardware, there's I believe the ALF1 engine. Pretty decent source port. Lets you source port or re-implementation lets you play all the Marathon games on modern hardware. I'm sure it has an FOV control. Like this isn't terrible, honestly. I have seen worse, and we're gonna see worse in just a minute. The worst part, honestly, is like you try and do a little flick, just a little flick, to adjust your aim, and the mouse just says, I'm not gonna register that. How am I missing every single one of these shots? Shut up! Go away! Alright. We'll hit... Nope. Oh, hello, there's another one. Go up these little stairs here. No! There we go. So this thing, that switch actually moves this thing. You can see it. There it goes down again. That's the way we need to go. So it's such a weird paradigm, right? Like, if you're coming from Doom, you're like, yeah, whatever, you just save wherever you want. No, in Marathon, you've got to find these things, pattern buffers. They let you save your game. If it doesn't, you know, die on you. Whoops. That is a hard reset there. You gotta go find a pattern buffer to save your game. It's like, come on. Let me save anywhere. Gut Bombs says, I tried Marathon on my Quadro 650 last night and I was shocked at how well it ran. Nice. 15 to 30 FPS was satisfactory at the time. Yeah, you know, I mean, you really couldn't do better. The computers weren't fast enough. I was singing the praises of the 68040, but like, it maxed out at 40 megahertz. There were no 133 megahertz hot chips from AMD for the 68040, unfortunately. Let's get this back to colors. There we go. I'm gonna reboot this real quick just to make sure that this sticks. Just in case the next app actually crashes, because, you know, vintage Mac, gonna happen. Silverleafman says, "Oh goodness, it totally borked." Yes. This was the way. This was the way with machines back then, right? Your classic Mac has no memory protection. There's no process protection. Oh, now it's in grayscale. Well, that's fun. One bit, you said you wanted me to try that boxes thing in grayscale, right? I guess now is your chance. Do the same thing, 42. Yeah, see it still sees it as color, so it renders multiples of it. This is what it was doing with the 256 colors as well. Boop. Alright, let's get this back to color. We're using macOS Noir. There we go. Okay. Reboot, hopefully that seals it. Stay in color, please. Pretty, please. Okay, there we go. Color Mac logo. Aw. Silverleafman, I wasn't alive, so I don't know what the benchmark for a computer at this time was. But the definition of playable was very flexible. Very flexible. If all you had was a 20 megahertz LCO40, you'd figure out a way to play Marathon 2 on it, no matter what. You just figure out a way. Which is what we're going to do right now. My stuff folder, into games, Marathon 2. It's very proud of itself. Very proud of itself. Okay. Oh boy. Bob's out of my way. Run's basically the same as Marathon, if you reduce the max window size. Now, of course, the Marathon 2 had some improvements to the engine. I don't remember if this could do floor over floor, but obviously, like, they're very proud of what the engine can do, letting you look out across this, you know, relatively complex geometry. It's very Doom-like. Very Doom-like. And of course you have, you know, the holdovers from Marathon 1 where you have like interactive panels you can work through. It's a little bit Doom, it's a little bit System Shock. Oh, that is a panel that opens up later. So we'll jump down here. Will we be accosted? Yep, we will be accosted. Plenty of good palette swapping effects, of course, as you'd have with any game in the 90s. This actually doesn't run too badly. I made the mistake of running this at high color mode and 800 by 600 last night, and it was not a fun time. Not a fun time. It's very slow. Frick, too many enemies. Frame rate's tanking. Whew. Oh, there you go. There's one of those pattern buffers again. So that's how you save your game. This is the only way to save. Ta-da! Well, look at that. We're back where we were. Oh, let's go to close again. Ah, darn it. Yeah, this is about as far as I ever got on the Marathon 2 demo. But again, you can see like it's not as bad in Marathon 2, but there's still like, it's zoomed in a fair amount. Like the field of view is not amazing. Again, if you want to play this in a modern machine, use the ALF1 engine. It's a much better experience. Oh, here we go. A scripted sequence. Look at that. A scripted sequence in your Doom clone. And there we go. Yes. Walk along the tiny walkway. Definitely, it's a great idea. Surely you will not regret walking single file towards me. Uh-oh. Don't know if there's a swim up button. Was not expecting swimmable water. So yeah, there's a few engine improvements over, you know, what Doom could do. Because you can swim in water in Doom. Not until the source ports, anyway. I think GC Doom added that pretty quickly. Curiously, no jump. But yeah, there's Marathon 2 for you. On actual hardware. Frame rate's a little not great. Let's play some more games. More games. Microsoft Flight Sim, perfectly acceptable to run Microsoft Flight Sim at 2 frames per second. Yeah, I mean, it was all you could do, honestly. Like, that's literally all it could do. So, obviously, Marathon 2, Marathon Infinity were made by Bungie. If you know the little software company, you know, games company known as Bungie, as some of their early work, this was one of their first games. Pathways into Darkness, and it's a first-person RPG. Really is like the best way to describe it. it is an experience. Let's see. I do not know what the controls are. Keyboard, mouse. Let's do the mouse. Oh, that's not a great choice. That was a poor choice. Now I've done it. How do I get rid of the mouse? Stop. Crud. Oh, now I've done it. Hopefully. Oh, I can't do the preferences until I start a game. Test 2, please don't be bound to the mouse by default. Oh, it's bound to the mouse by default. Shoot, I screwed it up. I screwed it up. Like I said, it's an experience. Oh boy. It is an experience. I bet it's leaving its preferences files in the system folder. Yep, pathways preferences. Get out of here. Try this again. There we go. Okay. So that's arrow keys, which is not great. Okay, but the number pad works too. Okay, which is not amazing, but that's probably fine. Right, so like this is pathways, right? Like there's some gunplay and some spell casting, but like this is pathways into darkness. It's a wild experience. It's something you really only see on the Mac, where you've got like a window that's doing 3D, and you've got a bunch of other windows with all your other stuff going on. It's all mouse-based. Totally wild. It's most akin, honestly, to like the dungeon crawlers from, you know, DOS and Amiga, Atari ST, but instead of being locked into like a grid view, right, where you're just moving one space forward and you turn 90 degrees, you have full freedom of movement because you've got a 3D engine. And this actually, this is a very lightweight 3D engine, and if we turn the resolution down into, you know, doubled pixels like we'd have on Doom or Marathon or whatever, it's actually quite smooth on this hardware, which is kind of impressive. You wonder if they'd ever used this to like make a Wolf 3D clone. Like it could have run pretty nicely, honestly, because this is basically what this is doing. You have some, you know, you have corner blocks here, but mostly it's a maze like Wolf 3D for the most part. But yeah, that's Pathways. I am awful at this game. Absolutely terrible at this game. It's very hard. It's one of those it's one of those 80s hard games where like you go through the wrong door and you just get annihilated and you're like, oh, what happened? Well, I hope you saved 30 seconds ago, because you're done. I forget who did a review of this. Maybe Civvy? Did Civvy ever review this? Somebody did a really great deep dive into this game and like actually played it all the way through and told you what was up with it. Because there's like multiple endings to this game. There's a good ending and a bad. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I don't know how to fight. Let's see. Shoot. I have a knife. That's all I have. Spacebar stabs. Just about dead, but I managed to kill the first things we walked across. That's what I mean. This game is not easy. Oh, of course that's going to be a secret or something. You're going to interact with that somehow. Totally. Oh boy. I should probably search the dead body. I think there's a pistol on the dead body. Why is my strafe not working now? Darn it. My strafe left doesn't work anymore. Really? I can strafe right. Nope. Oh, yeah, no, I can strafe right, but I can't strafe left. Search. Yes, yeah, we can get a gun. Whole bunch of ammo for it. And some kind of metal. Alright, so let's equip the gun. Do I have to load this? Did you see that? Yeah, you do the little disclosure triangle and it tells you what's loaded into it. And yeah, you gotta drag these things onto the pistol in order to reload it. It's like it's difficult by design. So now at least we have a gun. Let me see if this is right. If we run out of ammo on this. No! I can't examine how much ammo is in it without disequipping it. Which I guess makes sense. You'd have to pop the clip out. Alright, fine. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I should be out. Auto reload. Excellent. Okay. I thought we'd have to like drag the stupid ammo into the gun. Oh god. But yeah, this is one of Bungie's first games. Maybe their first game. But it is wild. Can we run? Is there a run? There is no run. At least not with shift. There's no running. You don't get to run. You get to waddle through these hallways at one speed. Okay, it's gotta be that hole in the wall, right? That's gotta be the secret. Gutbomb says it's Microsoft Office for Mac, the game. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know, examine it, read the note? Oh, it just says, welcome to the demo. Please buy her a game. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm pressing spacebar to shoot, and I'm using my left hand to move around on the keypad. It's not great. It's a little bit awkward. Oh, I see you. No, my strafe left doesn't work anymore. Aw. So there you go. And then it negs you when you're done with it. Yes, I'm ashamed. Go away, thank you. Alright, next game. I have this here because I want to show you. Because of course, I have After Dark installed. Right, of course. Why wouldn't you have After Dark installed on something like this? This is not running with the correct palette. So let's quick get this over to a higher color level. Yeah, look at that palette. That's a wild palette. Classic. Classic. Gotta have the flying toasters. Silverleaf Man's like, okay, so it does decimals for health. Why not give the health another 0? Because, you know, it's full of strange design decisions. That's Pathways into Darkness. If you can finish it, you win a medal, honestly, because it is one of those kind of games where it's just like, why did they make it this way? Why is any of this made this way? What were they thinking? The story is interesting from the video that I watched about someone playing it. Like, this story is pretty interesting, and it's was it from like 1993, I think? You had multiple endings. You had a good ending. There were several bad endings. There was a good ending that was really a non-ending because you didn't actually like do your objective. It was weird. Anyway, the reason I'm showing you Flying Toasters, I have After Dark installed, and there is a game inside After Dark. Yes, inside your screensaver, there's a game called Lunatic Fringe. And I played this so much. So we put the thing asleep, it loads up Lunatic Fringe inside the screensaver, and it'll just do screensaver things, right? You see it says right in the center, press caps lock to enter the fringe. And that's when it takes over your keyboard, and it's no longer a screensaver, and it turns into an arcade game. Did that already. Great. Just used up my shield. And it's sort of an Asteroids clone. I say sort of. It's not quite an Asteroids clone. But this is just running inside your screensaver. The reason I have Solarian 2 over there is that this was developed by Solarian 2's developer. So we're going to take a look at that next. We'll see the spiritual predecessor to this game. Imagine if you could get spread fire in Asteroids. Wouldn't that be great? Apparently I bonked into it really hard. It's not letting me reorient my ship. Uh-oh. Alright, anyway. Let go of caps lock, you're out of the game, and it's a screensaver again. I thought that was cool. I played so much of that back in the day, oh my god. Anyway, I've distinct memories of, I think my dad was like renting a PowerBook 180, and we were driving home from my grandma's house. It's like a 4-hour trip, which is an eternity for a kid. And I'm in the back of the van, I've got the PowerBook 180, it's got like 15% battery left, and I'm playing Lunatic Fringe until the battery dies. It's a great time. Alright, Solarian 2. I've never played this game. I've heard it's pretty good. Return activates shield. P launches a missile. Why is P the missile shield? What? L and backtick. Or no, L and apostrophe. Okay, so P and L. Alright, that's an inverse T over there. Okay, that's fine. Start level, clear high scores. How do I move my ship? I guess we're gonna find out. If it doesn't completely crash. Yup, it just completely crashed. Okay, great. Welcome to a 90s Mac. What is going on in the chat? Yeah, right? Yeah, it's a little bit like Ultima Underworld. Yeah, exactly. Garth Beagle says, is 80s difficult? I bet 1-bit lives it. Gut Bomb, this looks just like Halo. Oh, yeah, okay, so Silver Leafman's like, how do you have 2.1 health? You had 2 health a few minutes ago. Your health regenerates. Right, Nick? You would eat food to regain health, and yeah, you'd regain fractional health. Because reasons. Why? Inexplicable design decisions. Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack says a 4-hour drive's an eternity as an adult if you're driving alone also. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I can go about 10 hours before it starts to get weird. Alright, so we'll skip Solarian. Maybe it's too old. I do want to look at Power Pete though. Because this was from Ambrosia. Oh, sorry, Pangea software. I need to get some Ambrosia software on this thing. It's very loud. Whew. Yeah, it's a kid's game. What do you want? It's okay, you get to shoot all the annoying toys. I was always impressed with how well Power Pete runs. You've ranged weapons! It's not fair! Horrible.
Don't worry, I'll save you.
But like the fact that this is running as well as it is. This really needs a gamepad, honestly. I'm playing it with number keys on the keypad on the keyboard. Really bad. It really wants a gamepad. don't know how to get over there. Oh, well, I died. I have a couple of weapons. I thought I had a couple of... Apparently I don't have a couple of weapons. I'm gonna pick up more power-ups, apparently. Full health. Oh boy. So as far as cutting-edge game design, not really a lot here. The hitboxes on the enemies are ridiculous. It's impossible to hit anything.
Don't worry, I'll save you.
Anyway, that's Power Pete. I was always impressed by how well it ran. Unfortunately, it's not an amazing game. I believe Pangea went on to do Nanosar and Bugdom on 3D Accelerated Max. Which, like, it makes sense. They're clearly flexing their programming skills in this game. Just maybe not the game design skills. The strategy is to ignore the enemies. Just run. Just run.
Free dude.
Free dude. There's so many in there.
Fire in the hole.
Somehow I still got hurt, despite having a screen-wide bomb effect going off. Don't touch the tar. Gotcha. Bobbed when I should have weaved. Just about dead.
Fire in the hole. Take that, you fiend. Take that, you fiend.
We got the double-barrel jawbreaker launcher.
Take that, you fiend. Take that, you fiend.
Yo, that's how you get some weapons. Find a doorway they all come out of.
Good.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Here you go.
Oh, I haven't gotten to that one
Don't
yet.
worry, I'll save you.
Oh, how do I get over there? Indeed, PowerPete is checked out. Alright, we'll run Doom. We'll run Doom. Y'all can see it. Was that entire time just... Was it just all... I see I have 11,000 dropped frames. Was that just all eaten up by my ISP? Oh. It has crashed trying to run Doom. Reboot time. Joe is here. Hello, Joe. Welcome to the stream. Oh, sorry about the dropped frames, y'all. It's really not anything I can do about it. It's my ISP. I'm already running this on, like, literally 6 megabits. 6 megabits! And my ISP still can't deliver that reliably. So I apologize. Video is stuttering for me, the audio is fine. Yeah, sorry. I've tried to tune my video down as far as I can. I'm even streaming in HEVC to try and get like more video data per packet out of YouTube. But like my ISP is just terrible. Garth is all good. Well, thank you. Ah. Alright, let's play some Doom. Hopefully. Hopefully. That looks like a big old nope. I tested this last night and it worked. Ah, darn it. Doesn't like it. It doesn't like it. Harden Health says, yeah, we've all been there dealing with bad ISP. Yeah, I got no choice in it. It's the only option. It's that or like do 5G, which I've heard is even worse. You just get dropouts for like hours at a time. Oh, frustrating. Frustrating. Okay, let's turn off some extensions. See if we can run Doom. Or we're gonna crash at the desktop. That's nice. CPU's fine, it's not too hot. It's having a time. It is having a time. We'll turn off all the extensions. Yep. Gut Bomb's like, might work with extensions off. So to do that, you hold down Shift key on the keyboard, and macOS will skip loading all of your extensions. So you can see the bare reality of my System 7.1 install. It really is just System 7 under the hood. It does free up like 2 megabytes of RAM to not be running that. But let's see if we can get some Doom out of this thing. Sound Manager 3 or later to run. Alright, so I wonder what it's crashing about. Hum. Having a wee crash. Let's see, we're gonna do... Window's a little bit too big. Just make it a little smaller. I don't think we need anything else, really. Oh, there's Sound Manager. Need that. Even Thread Manager as well. Throw everything else in disabled. Reboot. Of course it worked last night. Of course it worked last night. I know exactly why it probably doesn't work. So I tested something this morning that messed around with my extensions. There we go. Ultimate Doom. Gut Bomb says, yay! Come on. Oh boy. Oh, that's right. The keys for this are insane. You might think, okay, yeah, so the keys are what? Like the number pad? Okay, fine, that's not a big deal. No, the keys are I, J, K, L with U and O as strafe left and right. Completely nuts. And then what is... That's probably U's, and that's... Where's fire? Where's fire? Kind of important, guys. D. D. The letter D is fire. It's one of the worst ports of Doom I've ever seen. Spacebar opens. D fires. Why does D fire? Did I leave from behind? No, I didn't. That was real close. Heck off. You may be able to hear the music. That is QuickTime Musical Instruments. And it's all software rendered. There's no hardware wavetable in this thing, so that's all software. So you can get a pretty significant speed boost if you turn off the music. Like a significant speed boost if you turn off the music. It's kind of silly just how much better it runs without any music. Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack says, it's D for deading the aliens. Yeah. Yeah, no, not a terrific port, honestly. Hard and Held is like, wow. Yeah, no, it's not an incredible port. Bear in mind, 25 megahertz, and there's no VGA acceleration in this, right? Like Doom did some tricks to glean a little bit of acceleration out of the VGA cards you were running it on. Right, like it did a little VGA register manipulation, a little bit of that. Having a faster VGA card helped. On the Mac, this isn't VGA. There's no VGA mode on a Mac. There's no like chained mode 0 or mode X. It's all one big frame buffer. It's just one giant frame buffer, and that means if you want to render out Doom, you write it straight into the VRAM. I mean, you do the same thing with VGA, but there's absolutely no acceleration for it. So games like these they're at an immediate disadvantage versus their DOS counterparts. Let me go get the chain gun, because I want the chain gun. Take a backpack, open up the chain gun door. Let's go get a chain gun. Charlotte says this kind of looks like the 3DO port of the game. Yeah, basically. I think that was running on an 030, wasn't it? The 3DO didn't have a great processor. We've at least got textured, floors and ceilings. And 100% of the level geometry is here. This isn't the 32X port or the Super Nintendo port or anything. If you want to see some pain, I can make the window larger, go into full screen, full immersion mode, except that it runs at like 3 frames per second. It's pretty bad. So, the astute among you who have played Doom and DOS know that if you hit F5, you get the low detail mode, right, where it skips horizontal pixels. That doesn't exist in this version. There is a graphical detail option, and when you hit it, come on, when you hit it, it renders in full detail mode, 640 by 480. Do you want a slideshow? Doom at 640 by 400, full resolution, on a 25 megahertz processor. Looks amazing, runs like garbage. Now, of course, if you play this on like an iMac, this is the way to play the game, right? Run it in high detail mode, and it's the best Doom has ever looked, right? Because a G3, even a 233 G3, has more than enough power to run Doom at 640 by 480. No worries. But yeah, it's not a nice time. Just make it a postage stamp and we're all good. But yeah, there you go. There's Doom on the Centris 610. Overclocked a smidge. Now, if you didn't watch John's streams about rebuilding this board, there's a limit. There's a limit to how fast you can make a Centris 610 go, because to save like 30 cents on each motherboard, Apple timed the network and the serial controller off of the computer's, the CPU clock. Now what John did when he was rebuilding this is he put a dedicated 20 megahertz crystal on there for the network adapter, which means technically I should be able to overclock this past the 28 megahertz or so. That's the theoretical maximum for the Centris 610, because it should behave a little bit more like a Quadra 610 because it's got the correct crystal for the network subsystem. We'll see. Given how unstable it's been at 25 megahertz, I'm not expecting this particular chip to get to 28. But I'm hopeful that the chip that I have on the way is genuine and will overclock. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have some overclocking fun with this in the future. This is actually sort of enjoyable, honestly. This is it's not so bad. This is more like what you'd expect from, like, I don't know, 486, 60, 33SX, something like that. You'd be playing it in a small window. Unfortunately, if you minimize the window all the way down, it doesn't say buy a 486. All right, so yeah. It does run Doom. It does run Doom. I want to get my fun extensions reinstalled. I'm missing. There's one more. One more game I want to run on here. Gutbomb says the stability you're experiencing is just classic macOS, honestly. It doesn't get any better than this. Yeah. Silverleafman says, I've never seen that window about toasting demons. Superb. It's so when you went to quit the DOS version, you'd get a little pop-up that would, like, are you sure you want to quit? But it was, it was funny messages like roasting demons, or like if you quit, you know, we'll summon Satan all over your hard drive, something like that, you know, because it's the 90s and it had to be edgy. All right. These two are mine. They're some of my favorites. Oxide and Tesserae, wonderful little games. But oh, now I did it. I clicked on the Apple menu and that locked the whole thing up. Nice. Let's see if I can. No, totally locked. What do I have in my Apple menu that's not happy? That's a great question. Hey, Dave from Dave's Vintage Apple Tech is here. Hello, Dave. How's it going? We are doing stuff with the Centris. It's mostly going okay. Discovered that if I touch my Apple menu, my whole machine locks up, which is great. Want to know why that's happening? I really hope it's not because I like opened a copy of Menu Tasker while it was still loaded. It's a no-no, but like I didn't change anything, so I figured it would be fine. I guess we'll see. Close all these windows. Let's open up something. So what I wanted to double check that I have in here is in my control panels. Yes. Software FPU is in here and on. Can't set it to 64-bit. Unfortunately, it's going to be an 80-bit floating point unit. But you know what we gotta try? The 68K port of Quake. Ready? Yeah, bummer. That's kind of what I figured was happening. Unfortunately, it needs an actual floating point unit. Once I get that 68040, the full one that's coming in from eBay, I will try Quake on here. So it does apparently with the 68K build, it apparently does work, but not super surprised. So you know what we gotta do? We'll end the stream with SimCity 2000. Good old SimCity. Freaking classic. Oh, so many hours. So many hours spent playing SimCity back in the day. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. Gutbomb says, with the viewport as small as it would go, Quake would run on his 33 megahertz 68040 at 6.5 FPS. Oh, yeah. Nigel Rhodes says the FPU on a network card is a strange thing. It sounds like that's an LC3? I think they put the floating point unit on the expansion card. Pretty sure. Right? And like this is exactly like when this machine existed, this was the game you were playing on it, right? This game and then Myst came out while this was a current machine. That was like the game, right? One of the best-selling games of all time. SimCity 2000 and Myst, that's what this thing was made to play. And it plays it pretty darn well. Scrolls pretty nicely, runs the simulation pretty nicely. Like, it's not bad. It's a good time. It's a good time. Joe says you gotta love that the river has an embankment above the town. Hey, you know what? That's a problem for future us. We'll just put some levees there. It'll be fine. There's scientists are saying something about global warming. I don't think it's a real problem. But yeah, that is the, and now it works. My Apple menu works. I don't know why. Whatever. Give me back my colors. Thank you. But that is Centris 610, and it is basically fully functional. Play a little music before we hop off here. It plays this okay. It's not 100%. It does a pretty good job. All right, I won't torture you all with music through my microphone. But yeah, that's this is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted. A little 68040 Mac that I can just mess with and make my own. I'm a kid in a candy store right now. I'm so happy. Oh, hooray! Hooray! So glad this thing works. Huge shout out to Big Bad Biologist, John over there at Big Bad Biologist's Big Bad Bench, for essentially resurrecting this machine. Let's say our goodbyes, y'all. It's been a wonderful stream. I hope you all have had fun. I hope you all have had. I hope it's been an educational look back at the height of 1993 technology. Remember, all of this stuff was 2 years before Windows 95 existed. Yeah, the macOS was in a pretty good shape for a long time. They were very far ahead of what Windows could do. Of course, we all know the story. They totally squandered their lead, but you know, for a little while, you could bask in the glow of having just an absolutely incredible graphical operating system on your home computer. So I hope everybody's had fun. I hope this has been an entertaining stream. And this machine is definitely going to appear again. It's going to go right here on my desk. In fact, I've got you can't really see it. Oh yeah, I don't have that camera on. Can't really see it, but I've got a VGA splitter on it that goes straight into this 32-inch 4K monitor. Inexplicably has VGA input. And this is going to be a main machine of mine. I've downloaded the Macintosh Programmers Workshop as well as Code Warrior. I'm going to learn how to program it because I kind of want to figure out how to make stuff go in macOS. It seems like it's an interesting and challenging thing to do. So hope everybody's had fun. Gut Bombs' excellent stream. Thank you. I love the Mac stuff. Yeah, I do too. I never feel like I have an opportunity to stream it. But yeah, this has been fantastic. Thank you all for watching, and I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your night, and may the PC parts be ever in your favor. Have a good night. If I can click the right button. Have a good night.